from prison to palace. Here are 7 African presidents who were once prisoners. Number 7. Kwame Nkrumah. Francis Kwame Nkrumah was a Ghanaian politician and revolutionary. He was the first Prime Minister and President of Ghana. He led the country to independence from Britain in 1957. In 1949, the British colonial masters selected 6 middle-class Africans to draft a new constitution that would give Ghana more self-government. But Kwame Nkrumah, who was the leader of the Convention People Party, CPP, saw that the recommendations would not give Ghana full independence. He therefore demanded that the Constituent Assembly write the constitution. When the British governor at that time, Charles Eden Clark, did not give in to Nkrumah's recommendations, he called for positive actions and the unions went on strike. The strike resulted in violence. Nkrumah and other Convention Party leaders were arrested. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison in 1950. However, before his 3 years imprisonment elapsed, Governor Eden Clark ordered Nkrumah's release from prison after his party won the 1951 elections. Nkrumah was told to form a new government and he was made the Prime Minister of Ghana in 1952. He became the president in 1960. Number 6. Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta was a Kenyan anti-colonial activist and politician who governed Kenya as a prime minister and then became the first president of the country. He played an important role in the transformation of Kenya from a British colony to an independent republic. Jomo Kenyatta was among the 6 leading Kenyan nationalists who were arrested and charged with masterminding the anti-colonial Mau Mau uprising in 1952. Although he protested his innocence, but he was convicted and remained in prison until 1959, and he was on exile until 1961. On his release from prison, Jomo Kenyatta became the leader of Kenya African National Union, KANU, a party he led to victory in the 1963 general election. He became the prime minister and oversaw the transition of Kenya colony into an independent republic. He became the president of Kenya in 1964. And ruled until 1978 when he died of stroke. Number 5. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was a South African anti-apartheid activist and politician who served as the first president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was the first democratically elected black president of the country. Prior to becoming the president, Nelson Mandela was arrested several times, but the most notable one was his incarceration from 1962 to 1990. He spent 27 years in prison for opposing South Africa's apartheid system. He was found guilty of sabotage and conspiracy to violently overthrow the government through Umkhonto Sizwe, a military group he co-founded in 1961 with South Africa Communist Party, SACP. But after numerous agitations, global protest, coupled with pressure from the United Nations, Nelson Mandela was granted unconditional freedom on February 11, 1990. He led the African National Congress, ANC, to the 1994 elections and he won the presidential election. He was sworn in on the 10th of May 1994. He declined a second presidential term and was succeeded by his deputy, Thabo Mbeki. Number 4. Olusegun Obasanjo. Olusegun Obasanjo is a retired Nigerian army general who ruled Nigeria at 2 different times. He was the Nigeria's military head of state from 1976 to 1979. And the democratically elected president from 1999 to 2007. In 1995, Obasanjo openly criticized General Sani Abacha's administration. He was arrested and convicted of being part of an aborted coup, despite protesting his innocence. Obasanjo was eventually released after the death of General Sani Abacha on June 8, 1998. After his release from prison, Obasanjo contested for president in the 1999 general elections under the People's Democratic Party, PDP. He won the election and was sworn in president of Nigeria on May 29, 1999. He was re-elected in 2003 and he left office in 2007 after completing his second and final term. Number 3. Robert Mugabe. Robert Mugabe was a Zimbabwean revolutionary and politician who served as Prime Minister of Zimbabwe from 1980 to 1987. He then served as president from 1987 to 2017 when he was forced to resign by his party. Due to his activism, Robert Mugabe embraced Marxism and joined the African nationalists calling for an independent state controlled by the black majority. Mugabe was opposed to British rule, and after making anti-government comments, he was arrested and convicted of sedition. He was imprisoned between 1964 and 1974. After his release from prison in 1974, Mugabe flew to Mozambique, where he established his leadership of Zimbabwe African National Union, ZANU. And from 1975, he began waging guerrilla wars against the white rulers. The war ended after a peace talk in the United Kingdom, and in the 1980 general elections, Robert Mugabe led his party to victory. He became the Prime Minister of Zimbabwe in April 1980. Number 2. Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma served as the 4th president of South Africa from 2009 to 2018. Prior to becoming the president, he was the deputy president of South Africa under President Thabo Mbeki. Jacob Zuma was a former anti-apartheid activist. In 1959, he became a member of the African National Congress, ANC. He later joined the military wing of the ANC, known as Umkhonto Sizwe. He was arrested in 1963 and sentenced to 10 years in prison for conspiracy to overthrow South Africa's apartheid government. After his release from prison, Jacob Zuma continued to work for the African National Congress and rose in the party's rank. He was the president of the party between 2007 and 2017. Number 1. Muhammadu Buhari. Muhammadu Buhari is a Nigerian politician who served as the president of Nigeria from 2015 to 2023. He was also a retired major general who served as the country's military head of state from 1983 to 1985 after taking power in a military coup d'etat. In August 1985, Major General Buhari was overthrown in a military coup led by General Ibrahim Babangida and other members of the ruling Supreme Military Council. Major General Buhari was detained in Benin City. He spent 3 years of detention in a small guarded bungalow. He was released in December 1988 after the death of his mother, and he retired to his residence in Daura, Katsina State. In the 2003 general elections, Buhari contested with the incumbent president, Olusegun Obasanjo, but he lost the election. In the 2007 presidential election, Buhari contested with Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, but he lost again. In 2011 general election, Buhari contested with the incumbent president, Goodluck Jonathan, but he lost again. Buhari lost the presidential election 3 different times, but he never gave up. In the 2015 presidential election, he contested again with the incumbent president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, but this time Buhari won the election. He was sworn in president of Nigeria on May 29, 2015. He won his re-election in 2019, and he left office on May 29, 2023 after completing his second and final term.